Hey everyone, wow. So this video, I do not know how long it's gonna be, but, yeah, I've recently got a lot of questions on my Instagram, about, like, the Wicca and Pagan, and so forth religion. So I decided, I would take a few questions, and so people have been asking me about, and I want to answer them for all of you who are wondering about some very simple tips about, basically, if you're just starting to get into the Wicca and Pagan or Neo-Pagan, etc., 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 religion. So if I look at my phone, it's not because I'm texting or anything. I just made notes for this video, because I didn't want to seem unorganized. Also, a really quick disclaimer: I am not, like, a professional, like, priestess or something like that, or, like, I haven't written any books or all of that sorts on this. This is what I have personally learned, and that has helped me, and that the advice I have given has helped a few other people that I know. So, it's okay if you comment and you have an opinion, that you want to share about, maybe mine, but it's not okay if you're being a complete rude person. I will just delete that, just to let you know. Okay, there's a difference between opinion and being rude. Anyways, on to the next thing. So basically, the person I was talking to is very, very new, and, also, I guess you could kind of call me a slight newbie. Well, not really a newbie, because I've learned about the craft and all of these kind of, like, religions that stem towards Wicca and Pagan and all of that, over the years. So I'm not entirely a newbie, but, like, I don't know, how to fully do, like, let's say, like, a full-on, like, if I did, like, a ritual with the cult. Like, I mean, obviously I've read about it and I know about it, but I wouldn't really maybe perform it as well as maybe someone else that's like a priest or a priestess, etc., etc. And for those of you, no, I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, where do I start? All right, so Wicca begins basically. Wicca is, about basically being, a witch, or, like, I think I'm sorry if I say this wrong, but I think the correct term for a guy is a warlock, if I'm correct. As far as I've known and stuff like that. And, oh dear, my jacket got caught. But, yeah, so basically Wicca is basically to do with, a lot of, like, the element earth, water, fire, air, and I think spirit is the last one, if I'm correct. Sam. Yeah. But, anyways, it has to do with that, and, a lot of the times, like, respecting nature, and to do with gods and goddesses of, like, nature, and love and passion, and the spirits of our ancestors, and all of that. It's a very, very positive religion, as far as I've seen. Yes, of course, there's going to be some dark things here and there, but you have to realize, with a lot of basically anything you learn about, anything you've been taught, anything you read, you watch, you see, has a good and bad side. Let's just get over that. But unfortunately for Wiccan paganism, it tends to get a bad rep, because people don't seem to realize the difference between, like, witches and being a pagan, and usually the more positive side, And then there's the Satanists that usually people think we are. And don't get me wrong, if you are a Satanist and you do all that, good for you. I'm thinking this is probably not the video for you, so yeah. But, yeah, we are not like that, most of us. We are very positive, very, towards, positive energies and spirits and all of that. But let's get down more towards the basics. I'm sorry, it's already been 5 minutes, I've been kind of rambling. But, yeah, Wicca. Obviously, Wicca and pagan, and then it stems off to, neo-pagan, Gardner, Dianic, I think that's how you say it. There's also even, things if you're like, ooh, for some reason Wicca, you're like, just the word kinda makes you a bit scared. Don't worry, there's things like fae/fairy type of witch magic and stuff. Really, there's all sorts of stems and tree branches for this culture. But yeah, let's see. Like I said before, a lot of Wicca and pagans, you basically, your part to help respect nature and the spirits and all of that. Also, another big thing that people don't tend to know when they first start off is that you should do the practices of karma. Basically, whatever you put out into the world and when you walk around and other stuff, come back to you times, yes, the magic number for many things, 3. In other words, like, let's say if you hex someone, which I advise you not to do, just for many reasons, you can do your own research on that as to why not. It's usually a bad thing, usually. It's gonna come back to you and bite you in the butt. It really is. Even if you think it's worth it, it's not gonna work. Trust me. It's happened. I mean, I haven't hexed anyone or something. It's just, like, basically karma, to be honest, like, if you don't want to really label it as such. But yeah, whatever you put out comes back to you times 3. Moving on. Also, you're probably coming to this video because you're looking at Wicca and paganism and all of that, trying to basically find out maybe why you're attracted to it. You're basically attracted to it, or when you hear witch or Wicca or paganism, you look at crystals, or you see the pentagram, or you see the word magic spelled either way. There's 2 different ways. You are most likely, you get desire toward it because you are spiritually and mentally feel connected in some sort of way, or fascinated by it. Some sort of connection to it. That's why you're probably doing research and you're wondering about it, so you want to learn more about it. Alright. Also, another big thing. Usually when people do their first research, they run into the word coven, or covens, or etc. Covens are basically, for some reason, when people think of covens, they think of sacrificing things and goats with playing heavy metal in the background and all of that, which I never understood why people have to think like that. No. Yes, but no. Most of the covens in Wicca and paganism don't sacrifice goats, as far as I know, or have seen. Being in coven usually holds of a group of people who practice rituals and spells together. And they usually, sorry about that, they usually practice, oh, sorry, I already said that, but there usually is a priest and priestess. Basically, what that means is that they are like close to the gods and goddesses, I think, if I'm correct. Um, and basically, they are like the leaders of the group and stuff like that. So it's not a bad thing. It's usually basically just think about like hanging out with your friends, except in this case, they can be friends or family. And even people, there's arguments here and there, but there's even been covens that have created a circle and have let just like anyone really join, and usually it's more for a positive thing and such. Um, but yeah, covens aren't a bad thing. Next, let's see. Also, when you're first getting into it, you're probably gonna think, oh, am I doing this wrong because I'm not fully going by the books or the online thing, or because of the person said this. Oh. Okay, let me just say this. Do what feels right to you. You, yes, you watching this. You and if you're watching this with someone, you and your friend, and if so, family, pet, guardian angel or something. Just you. You basically don't, let's say, okay. So basically you don't have to follow, rule by rule by rule. Because if you look at any book, if you've read any Wicca, Pagan, any of that sort kind of book, there's no full rules that says you have to follow completely everything. Or maybe in some cases you're not really allowed to have the full tools, like, an altar, or your parents or family or whoever you're living with doesn't allow you to. Or if you're in college or something and like it's forbidden or whatever the case is, like, it's okay. You can still practice the craft just by simply, let's say if you don't have a wand or something like that. Yes, a wand. Don't worry, we do use wands and stuff. But anyways, if you don't have one or you can't afford one or something of the sort, the most powerful thing you can use is right on you. Your fingers. Usually this finger, or whatever you choose, really. Or on this hand. Ooh, wands. But yeah. Also, there really is no right or wrong way in the end. That's what I liked about this religion so much. Basically, all this is about is what you're comfortable with and what you get, basically, you get in touch with your spirituality and yourself. That's all that matters, as long as you're happy. Also, Wicca is just not about doing just spells and magic and all those things just to get what you want. If you think that's what it's all about, I don't think Wicca is the right thing for you, or paganism and stuff. Just because there's a huge, actually, amount or some sort of level of respect towards the gods, the goddesses, the fairies, the spirits, even the dragons or goblins or whatever you believe in. There's some sort of respect towards that, like karma. Also, you just, when you're casting a spell and stuff, it's not just about that. But going back to the tactics, you can't mess with free will. Like, for example, a lot of, like, love spells and stuff, if you are, like, commanding someone to do your bidding something bad, or for someone to fall in love with you, like, how do you know for the love part if, like, they truly love you for you, or if it's the spell or something like that? Like, you don't know. So, honestly, like, Wicca isn't just about, getting the things you want because of the spell, all of that. I think I made that pretty clear. Let's see. Oh wow, 15 minutes. Also, going back to the questions that I got, let me read them. First question was, where can I find out information for Wicca, paganism, neo-paganism, etc.? Also, I'm sorry. Ooh, I thought I was gonna sneeze. Oh boy. You can find out a lot of information, or at least what I found out, besides online, because sometimes online you're not really sure if it's true or not. But usually from books, I found out so much information. And going back to the whole where it stems from, like, for example, like neo-paganism and a lot of cultural around it starts from like Mayans and stuff, and this case it's like obviously the Mexican ones, and I just use this book more towards for art references and ideas, but this also has helped just like give me a variety examples of just like kind of what they believe in and kind of how like healers and all of that and jazz and kind of back then information. Also, there's as I said, there's strands. It stems to stuff like, let's say, if you believe in dragons, you can look up books on dragons. You can't really see it, but yeah. You can look, especially like I said earlier, with fays or fairies. Books on fairies. Yes, I know these aren't like religion based or something, but it's like if you want to get the idea or grip of what it is you're trying to. You can't really see the. Oh. But yeah. You can also, if you believe these are protectors or whatever, and not, or your guardian, whatever animal, spirit, fairy, even goblins. You can find books on that. And then, of course, if you're wondering more towards like the main, like I want to know about Wicca and stuff like that, you can start off with finding background information on like books. This is by I can't seem to find the name, but basically Witches of the World. Oh, the name's right there. Witches of the World, and it has a cat on it, and the pentagram, and then there's like a fire over here, if you can't tell what that is. But very broad, basic information. Not basic, but like basically kind of background story of like the Salem witch trials, and kind of just different parts of it, and voodoo. And oh, another thing. Voodoo is not a bad thing. Like many other things like Wicca and stuff, it's not a bad thing. Like I said before, good and bad on both sides. Also, just another quick thing before I move on with other books that's actually really helped me. There is such things, like let's say if you're thinking or your family's like Christian or Catholic or even Jewish and such. There are witches that are like Jewish or I've seen mostly Catholic and Christian witches or warlocks. That is such a thing. Like they do kind of their practices from the Bible and stuff like that. I don't do that, but you know, in the end, it's all about also respecting all of religions and such, and not trying not to make fun of them. No, not trying. That's a horrible word. Not making fun of them. And just respecting and just having a wide knowledge of all religions so you can kind of maybe even grasp different parts to kind of make your own and such. Which I'll actually talk about that in a second. But, no, this isn't as simple. But, yeah. Uh, this one, no, I'll save that 1 second. This book was, I think, my second ever witchy kind of like spell book that I got, which is by Silver Ravenwolf. She writes a lot of good books that have actually a lot of helpful information, and it's called Teen Witch. It's kind of a sparkly cover, and it has, this chick, and that's the back, if you're wondering. This has a lot of information, just like, for a lot of the younger kind of generation, which you don't really see that many YouTube videos about, like, teens or young adults that are kind of, like, getting into this or something, usually kind of elder people or on their mid, like, 20s and such, just, like, from what I can see and have saw and etc. But yeah, this is definitely for like good stuff, like beginner. See, I even still have tabs from when I read it and stuff, and it's very, very, very good. Her books are amazing. If you're looking for more kind of spells and stuff, this is, it says, you can't really see it, but it says Spells, the Book of Spells. Over 40 secret recipes to get your own way in love, work, and play. 3 emerging spells on sealed pages. By Nicola D. Paul Ford. I think that's how you say her name. I'm sorry if I just murdered that. It looks like this, and it gets tied with little ribbons. Very nice. Obviously I opened it, so it's not tied anymore. But yeah, that's just for more spells and stuff. And then this book is more towards kind of advanced, and I think it's definitely more centered around cults and stuff, but I love just reading it and the rituals and stuff like that. And it's called A Witch's Bible, the Complete Witch's Handbook. It's all black with just writing, and it talks about the Sabbaths, casting and banishing magic circle, the complete book of shadows, the great rite, spells, witches' tools, etc. But it's a bit more difficult to understand if you are just getting into it, so try maybe read a bit more on Wicca and paganism and etc. if you want to read this. It's thick too, but has a lot of information, and I like it. But yeah. Let's see. That's basically all of the books I own on magic and all of that jazz. The second question is, how do you worship? To whom, when, how, where? Basically, if you want to worship like gods or goddesses, you can usually, if you have an altar, even if you don't have an altar, you can set aside like a little bucket, or I even read online, if you don't have enough room, a little metal can like that you get fruits and vegetables from, and just save that. And in my case, I'm sorry I'm leaning over, but in my case I did a little offerings jar. You can't really see it, but it's like, it has the pentagram, war, I think this is the war god symbol for like strength and stuff. I have a key on there, and I forgot this one at the moment, but yeah, this one I put my offerings into, and every week I go out and I give it to basically back to nature and stuff. And also, if you're gonna do offerings, try to do biodegradable things, or something that's kind of maybe safe or whatever. And also, if you are going to offer something like a piece of jewelry or something like that, like you usually bury it or something like that, or hang it if you have a little maybe house for fairies or whatever suits you. So yeah. Also, if you were kind of wondering, like, to whom or what, maybe the gods or goddesses or fairies or something, like god of nature and goddesses of nature, I think it's bread you can give them. And then I give them also roses and stuff like that. And let's see, I forgot the other ones at the moment. But yeah, it's like if you look up the god or god, what offerings do they accept? It usually will come up as a list, and I'll put in the link I found. Uh, put in the link in the description. I found a link to something that was very helpful and stuff to me, so I'll give that. And then when usually I do it kind of in the afternoon, like, because usually that's when I have time, unfortunately. But I find that a good time, kind of like maybe when the sun's kind of setting, and maybe an hour or two before. So it's kind of like this whimsical feeling around you. You can even maybe do it at night if you wish, or early in the morning before you go to work or something like that, or school, or whatever the case. But really I think it's more up to like whenever you feel the most comfortable. But I always try to do offerings every week or so, or maybe if you can or something like that, the longest maybe like a month or so. I mean, really it's all up to you, whatever you're comfortable with and whatever you believe is right. Moving on, also maybe if you are kind of looking for very simplistic things to wear to represent being a Wicca or Wiccan, you can wear like a pentagram necklace. I got this at the Renaissance Festival. You can't really see it, but I'm wearing like a crystal. Or maybe if your parents don't really accept it or whatnot, you can wear something that represents maybe something positive. Like, I got this also at the Renaissance Festival. It's like a blue eye, and usually blue eyes means like to protect you from evil. And I don't remember if it's Hinduism or something of the sort. I forgot the name at the moment. I'm just blanking out. But yeah, also, I have another pentagram necklace that has a little bat on it because I kind of like the gothic scene and stuff like that. I thought it was really cute, and I like the bat spirits and stuff like that. Also, another helpful thing, if you don't have an altar, you can maybe carry around with you, or even place on the altar if you can make one. A lot of like rocks. You can even look up what rocks and such mean. This is kind of like a brownish, slight red one with like white dots and stuff. It's very shiny and smooth. And then you can use even colorful crystals. But then the most ones that I find very useful are clear quartz ones. Because you need to kind of charge them a lot. And you can charge them usually by laying them in the sun. Sometimes people bury them and redig them back up. Rainwater, but you have to be careful with that, I think, because some rocks or crystals can't really handle that or something. Basically anything that really suits you and what you can do. But yeah, quartz / clear crystals are very good to getting out negative energy and spirits and stuff, besides sage and such. So I think that is it. I am so sorry, it is a really long video. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you want me to make another video doing more Wicca sort of questions, or maybe showing you my altar or something like that, please let me know. I love you guys all. Please have a pleasant day, afternoon, night, month, year, birthday, unbirthday. So, bye. Mwah.